Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Roster Reviews. My first review today is of Mini Pleasantly Plump. They were one of the first to respond to my posts, so I wanted to get to them. They're with Eoligans and currently in Carbonite 3. This player started in June 2020, they say, and they only bought the Hyperdrive bundle. And this review might be a little bit more of a roast because I think Pleasantly Plump is a little behind schedule with 1.9 million GP in about 2.5 years. Doesn't look to be on the right track with fleets and a little bit distracted with characters too. So I'll get to fleets in a second. Only 3 relic characters. I do like the Revens. They're great characters, but for Giant Knight Revan's team, he should not be the first relic. Yoda should. And then probably Jolie and Revan can be fine straggling along behind at gear 12. Because Yoda's your damage dealer, and then as long as Jolie is surviving, he can bring the whole thing back from the brink if things go sideways. Darth Revan and Bastila Shan, I think that's fine. If you're really all about the Sith Empire team, I think those two are decent picks. Because Darth Malak isn't finished off yet. But this roster is a little lagging behind as far as development. Only a handful of Gear 12s. That was a misclick, but I am going to look at Geos. So a handful of Gear 12s. Commander Luke Skywalker, good to have. Darth Vader. Which Zetas are there? Okay, so that's decent. He doesn't have the leadership, which is fine if you're using Palpatine lead. So let me check Empire. His Empire, he's got... It's not highly geared, but it looks like he is focused on just the primary team. I think Imperial Troopers are definitely something to focus on and work on. With the aim of eventually getting Executor. I think that should be your priority over any other Galactic Legend. You might want to go back and check my free-to-play farming guide. And even though you've been in the game for a long time, just look at those recommended teams and farming locations to get kind of a schedule going. And I think you should work on your Geonosians just for ships. So you should work on Geonosians, get those ships up, get your Separatist ships up and running, or at least better. Let me check those. I know you're running Home 1 with a kind of a mixed bag in Arena. So yeah, to get the Hyena Bomber, finish your Vulture Droid, because also I think that's on the node that Iden Versio's on, and that is definitely worthwhile. Let me check your Rebels for a sec. That's main characters. Let me check your Rebel characters. Just going through the factions. Okay, decent but lower geared, so you're just gonna have to work on gear for a lot of these teams. And I'm gonna take a look at the mods real quick. So the way I'm doing that, I'm gonna sort by speed. Okay, Giant Knight Revan fastest. That's not the worst thing. But not great. Pretty slow for your fastest character with 250 and plus 82. I think you really need to work on your mods. And let me check these. So this mod shouldn't get sliced. It's a speed set, but doesn't have any speed in its secondary. And I know people talk about speed mods, and if you get confused as a newer player, that doesn't only just mean the speed set, it means secondaries as well. So you want to make sure you're only working on mods with speed secondaries. So this one has a speed secondary, but you didn't roll it at all on your way up to gold mod. So that shouldn't have gotten sliced to 6 dots. This one, this is the type of mod I'd have on really backup character that doesn't need a ton of speed. I understand you're not going to have the mod def, but at this point in the game, you could have a lot. Now, this is a good mod. This is the best mod I've seen on this Revan so far. This has 4 slices with up to 19 speed, and you could get an extra slice in the post 6 dot slicing to get it up past 20. And there's another one you never should have sliced. And let me check. Yoda being faster than Darth Revan. Yoda should have an offense set, because it looks like you're primarily using him under Jedi Knight Revan, so he's always getting called to assist, and you want extra damage with him. Go for probably an offense triangle too, instead of crit damage, because he has very low crit chance. So yeah, I don't know, do you have speed sets on everyone? Okay, speed set. Who's someone that really shouldn't have a speed set? On, yeah, speed set. Yeah, you're gonna want to diversify your mod pool too. Like Han wants crit damage or offense sets. It's just not all characters want speed sets. Okay, let me just go back to normal view. But I mean, I do like Jedi, like Sith Empire. Those are good teams to use. Just work on the mods. Go back and fill your gaps with the key teams that you don't have developed as much yet. And with ships, go for... You don't have many ship... Oh, that's just Rebel. I don't have a ton of ships right now. Like I said, with the Separatists, go for them. Build them up. Even if you're using one of the first 3 fleets or Thrawn or something, try to use them more. And then go for a Malevolence unlock. And that'll start to work towards getting you back on track. But anyway, thanks for letting me review your account. Sorry if it's a little bit harsh or anything, but yeah, just a lot of things to work on here. All right, next account I'm reviewing is Inquisitor Morphis, and I got Gus here to help me just a little bit for an extra perspective. He's been playing since January 2021. It's completely free to play. He focuses on Conquest and used to focus on Grand Arena. 4.1 million GP, so that's a good place to be at after 2 years. Currently in Chromium 3. I think that's probably decent for 4.1 million GP. Has JMK. Running Negotiator right now, but they do have Executor. It's just 4-star, so I'll look at that in a sec. And when I look at this account, it's pretty decent at the top. I mean, JMK is a great first Galactic Legend, especially if you already have Executor. I think that's worthwhile to get if you can. It doesn't have to be Supreme or Kylo Ren. Got Piet up there, of course. I'm going to start sorting by faction just to see what we're working with. Starting with Galactic Republic. And, okay, got the gas, got his whole team. So that's a great place. I don't see Commander Tano, so definitely be working in that proving grounds to get her as soon as possible and spending resources to get her because JMK really wants to have her. So he's still working on his ultimate too, which takes plenty of time. Let me try to see what else. Oh, he did tell me he wants to go for Lord Vader next after Rebels. So that is interesting. Got the Qui-Gon Omi. That's great. Alright, yeah, he's got the Bad Batch farming them up, so that's good. Get them farmed before you have to spend a ton of gear with them. Let's check out Empire. Okay, so the Empire, I need some work, which is fine if you're having a lot of other priorities targeted. At least you got Mara Jade up a decent amount. Might want her Zeta at some point. But it looks like you just got one functioning Empire team. And with Piet at Relic 8 already, I think it's a waste to not develop your Imperial Troopers more. I see you do have the Zeta on Veers, so that is at least functional. Probably even before you get Lord Vader, just get Dark Trooper up to Gear 13, maybe R5 at the least, if you can. I know I don't like when people are like, oh yeah, just get him to Relic this, get him to Relic that. It's not as easy, but you want to get him up a little bit because he really benefits from his relics. It makes the team way better. I got Iden for low gear extra troopers, so I'm sure you can get something done with that. That's a little bit of a bargain application there. Moff Gideon, I'd like to see built up a little bit more. Then Rebels, let's see. Okay, so he's got the one team to rule them all with Rebels. He's working on that, so that is good. I think probably 3PO and Chewie's your next target. C-3PO can leave him as is until you're going for a Galactic Legend that requires him higher. Yeah, other than that, I don't think Rebels are like a huge priority. I mean, if you go for JML, you might want to make up a Rebel Fighters team. But otherwise, I'm not super concerned about it. Another staples faction is Jedi. He's got great Galactic Republic Jedi, but it kind of hurts me that he has barely anything into his old Republic Jedi. I would like to see Jolie built up to relics at some point, just to finish out that team. But also, Sean can do a good amount at Gear 11 if you're on a tight schedule. So that's not a huge deal. And then you could just put in a 5th somewhere, like maybe Mace Windu or something. Well, he's I don't know. It's gonna be hard to split them because you just have just enough to do like 2 Galactic Republic Jedi teams. So I don't know. I definitely think Jedi Knight Revan's team is worth some investment. Let me check Sith. Okay, so not much going on here. A couple of Empire. It does have the Treya Omi, so I think that's decent, even at lower gear. No Darcian though, so I'm not sure how you're going about using that with such a low... Alright, love. And you know, the tough thing in this game is balancing everything needs development. So I don't know if this is the priority to go to right away to fix, but since you already put that Omi on Treya, I don't know, it might be worth something. Oh, let me check Inquisitors because that's part of your name. Nada. Okay, well, 8th brother at 7-star, but nothing else, so that's interesting. Like to hear about that from you. Yeah, let's sort by speed and check out the mods. It's JMK fastest, not surprising. Has some mod 570. That's good. I mean, that's a high speed for JMK. Shock T is also another naturally fast one. Okay, decent speed there. I don't know if she want priority here. Probably, I mean, based on your roster, I'm guessing that's probably a fine priority for her. Piet, you already got him at 330. I mean, that's a pretty good speed. It's not like masterclass speed, but that's worth making your Imperial Troopers a little bit better, or at least just Dark Trooper. The rest of them, you can probably make it work with their low gear. I'm sure you're making it work in some capacity now. Commander Luke, he might be able to use... Well, no, he's very fast. Let me see for someone that's lower here that could use more speed. Yeah, Boss very fast. Or for this account, it's pretty good. And the rest of them, that's okay speed. It's not speed set. And it doesn't look like he's too off track on any of these mods in priority. Time to look at ships. So he does have a 4-star Executor, so thumbs up. That's just great. I don't know if... Since it's only 4 stars, I don't know if you got that before JMK or not. I mean, I tend to think you did because you just told me you got JMK. But yeah, definitely work on him. I mean, it sucks. The crystal thing is, I think it's like the worst thing with these new ships, having to shell out crystals to get anywhere. But you're running, he is running Negotiator in Fleet, which is interesting. I don't know if that does better than a 4-star, but at least 5-star is a clear call. Got Malevolence too, so pretty rounded out fleets for this stage in the game. Yeah, no, pretty good. Let me check Empire. So that's a good backup fleet to have. We'll just got a couple. Okay, so he's got the core. He could do that with some Sith and make a decent fleet out of it if he's got any Sith. Not really, but you can probably make something work with that Empire. Just balance out some of the other fleets. I don't know how many fleets you have in Chromium, if it's 2 sets or 1. But if it's just 1, then you're pretty good to go for a long while. But anyway, thanks for letting me look over your account. Okay, next roster, I got a more endgame roster. This is Domeus, and he is 7.6 million GP in Kyber 3 right now. He says his focus is on GAC, and then also the Challenge Pit raid and Assault Battles. So that's interesting, trying to round out this Assault Battles. It's been a long time since I had to do the Assault Battles, so I'm not sure how to consult on those fully. But very interesting account because the 2 Galactic Legends, he also has JMK, but it's like year 11 right now, so just unlocked him. He's got 2 of the most difficult Galactic Legends to unlock. Well, I guess Rey's not the most difficult, but she's usually delayed to be one of the last. So these 2 are some of the lower priority for most people. I love Lord Vader and I love Rey, so I'm not going to be throwing shade or anything. It's just interesting since it's a different approach. This player has been playing since February 2017 though, so maybe they had a head start on Resistance, so went that way. And maybe Lord Vader's just a a favorite, but they're awesome characters. I think they're. I mean, in my ranking video, I showed they were like the second and third best. So I'm not complaining about that at all. And he also has Profundity, which is great. Best ship in the game. Still working on it. I think Executor would be another good target, maybe even before another GL, but I don't know. That's up to you. In Kyber, you need all the fleets you can get, and having both meta fleets is a big boost. So looking through the roster, got, of course, at 7.6 million, got lots of relic characters. So I'm going to go through with just some factions first to see what we're looking at. Let's try Bounty Hunter. Okay, so a little bit of an underdeveloped Bounty Hunter faction. And Embo, I think, yeah, he's for one. Well, is he for Lord Vader or JMK? I forget. I think he might be for JMK. Can't always remember off the top of my head. Zam Omicron, huge weak point is Bosk. Bosk, you need to get him up to relics. He's one of the first characters to prioritize getting to relics. So before you chase Galactic Legend or anything, I think Bosk would be actually top priority because Houndstooth is the best in a variety of lineups. And then also, it'll just help finish off your Bounty Hunter factions. I mean, and he works offensively to some degree if you're picking your battles carefully and they don't have a lot of firepower you're going against, and it's just trying to get to an insta-kill. Yeah, building up Mando to be a little bit more durable will be a good idea. Just a good amount of work to do there. An Empire, not a ton of Empire, but a decent critical mass. So Palpatine, if you were just going to run the Palpatine, Vader, Mara Jade, I think this is fine relics. Thrawn at Relic 3. I don't know what you're going for with that, but I mean, maybe that's just for the capital ship, which is decent in itself. So I think he's probably using Pal, Vader, Mara Jade. Or unless, I guess Darth Vader would be with Lord Vader. So in that case, you have Palpatine, Mara Jade, Tarkin, Thrawn. And I don't know. He's got some work to make use of the Empire faction. Needs to build up a couple more good characters. Imperial Troopers are fine. He has Piet, Relict, and Dark Trooper. So if you're only going to have a couple Relict, I think those are the ones to have. And he's got range. So I think his Imperial Troopers, I mean, they could be better, more developed. But for the roster spread he has, I mean, they're functional at least. Low gear Iden Troopers, which I don't know if they can get much done in Kyber 3. But that's definitely a team that's worthwhile. The Galactic Republic, here's where he has his JMK. That's gear 11 with 5 Zetas, but still low GP. So working on that. He does have Commander Tanos, so that's great. The Galactic Republic is actually looking in great shape. I don't have much criticism here. Yeah, I know. I think that's looking good. Let me see. Hold on a sec. Okay, let's take a look at Jedi. Okay, pretty developed overall. It does have Jedi Knight Luke, so maybe Jedi Master Luke is next on the table. I don't think Jabba is what he's going for based on his bounty hunters, what I saw in his Hut Cartel. What's the biggest gap here? Jolie, getting him to relics would probably be a good idea. And then Old Ben, if you're going for Jedi Master Luke next. Which, since the biggest barrier is Jedi Knight Luke, so after him, I think JML is a good idea. Mace Windu also loves more relics. He makes great use of them. Yeah, all moreover, pretty decent there. Rebels, he's got a pretty stacked Rebel setup. He has all 3 main teams. Got CLS Rebels built up pretty well. Got Mon Mothma Rebels. He needs to work on a Rogue One tank. That's important. So, actually, you need Hoth Rebel Scout. So if you have Mon Mothma, you have most of the team. So actually, he doesn't have most of the team. He's just got Mon Mothma and Kyle Katarn for that team. But if you do have interest in running it, get up Hoth Rebel Scout, Pal, and Cara Dune. For sure. But since the easier approach is Rogue One, and I actually think it's a better team, I think you should build up a tank, which, Phase Malbus is closest, but I think either K2SO or Scarif is your best bet. But actually K2SO, because I think it's more useful long term. I think it's better in the team, and also it's part of Cassian's U-Wing, so that's going to be a much stronger ship. Piston's U-Wing, since you have Profundity, not going to come into play as much. Check Separatists. Okay, this is, decent. You might want to build up Geos for ships eventually. That's fine. Sith. Yeah, I don't know. You got Talon, so maybe you're going for Starkiller. Did I actually miss? Do you have Starkiller yet? Okay, you do. You have a low gear Starkiller, and you're working on him, so building him up. I don't know. I don't know if I would have given this Omi to Ben Solo at this low gear. Probably not worth it. But you do have Starkiller. Go back here. So yeah, I don't know which Galactic Legend you're aiming for next, but I would consider getting Executor first before another one, and then go for JML, since you do seem closer to that. Let me check the First Order. Got a little progress towards it, but probably JML is what I'd go for next. And now let me check some mod priority here. Okay, the Galactic Legends, they're top. Let me just check the protection. Okay, so... I think he probably wants a protection arrow. At least that's how I run him. With speed secondaries, if you can find them. If you can get good speed secondaries on a protection arrow, then that's a slam dunk. Crit damage is fine. Let me see here. Ray's modded. Everyone likes to do offense, but I like just pure health. It's a decent amount of health. Okay, offense. Do need more if you're running an offense set, though. So, maybe work on that. Otherwise, it looks like mostly decent priorities. So, Echo is highest among the non-GLs, 349. Okay, that's fair. The whole team depends on his speed, so that's fine. Darth Revan, 334. It's decent. If you're spread thin on mods. Here's one I disagree with that I think you could divest of good mods and give them to others more in need. He has BB-8 at 327 speed. You don't need that much. He's just not that much of a priority. He goes well with General Grievous and then Sortie if you have him later, but I don't think he needs that much. I think you should put these on Piet, or like the faster mods on Piet. Speed up Piet. At least if you can make use of it. What's the plus? Here, 145. Yeah, so there's definitely some better mods on BB-8. Give those to Piet. The rest of them, Thrawn, I'm not sure what your use for him is that fast, but he doesn't need to be as fast anymore unless he's a big feature for your account. So switch off from him. Radis, I actually love to have a lot of speed, and you got decent speed here. It's like, well, it's not too much. So you might want to prioritize Radis. It'll catch people off guard a lot, especially at your level if you make him super fast. The rest of them, who's really lagging? Okay, Bastila Fallen and Giant Revan. She's actually got a low base speed, so I think for the amount of mods you have, that's fine for her. But Giant Revan, if you want to make this team work well, which I think, if I remember, it would take a little bit more development of your other Jedi, you might want to speed him up. And check your Datacron since you are high enough level. Okay, decent. Level 6s. Since you only have... You don't have much in First Order, I would have stopped these at level 5. And here, yeah, I think you can make use of most of these, so... level 6 is fine, but I think the most efficient stopping points are 5, 8, or maybe 3. Anyway, I think that's a good enough look at this account for now. So thanks for letting me look at your account. All right, I've been going a little long. I spent a lot of time on the last account, so I'm going to try to do a quicker one here. This is LandornChocolates, 2.1 million GP, and they started in June 2022. So if that's free to play, which I haven't, they didn't say they're free to play or not. That's a lot of progress in 6 months. I'd be very surprised if it was free to play completely. Bronze M3 right now. And looks like, okay, they like the Jedi. They got Darth Vader, which is fine. I mean, it's kind of a one-man show on its own. Geobrood Alpha. Boss, that's definitely good as a priority. Hermit Yoda, I don't think it's worth the investment at this level. Unless you're going for JML, which I'm not sure if you are. RS Singh. I don't know. RS Singh might not be a priority, that high of a priority to develop into relics this early with an account like this. As far as Omicron, decent. Qui-Gon Jinn Omicron. Let me just look at the Jedi faction. Just some major ones, not like everything here. So Jedi faction, just got one working team. Got Giant Revan. I guess Qui-Gon Omi still has some use even with the lower gear if that's who you're facing. So I think that is a-okay. Let me check Empire again. So interesting mixed bag on Empire. I think you should probably make a decision on what you're doing with Empire and work towards it. I mean, Darth Vader is fine. He can make a lot happen by himself. You don't have his leader, so you're probably using him under Palpatine. Get Palpatine's lead Zeta. It's very important. That's going to really change the whole team if you get that as soon as possible. Put a little bit more gear on some key characters like Mara Jade and Thrawn for this team eventually. And if you're just going to make that one team work, I'd probably go Moff Gideon as the 5th there to make it as good as possible. Because it doesn't seem like you've put much effort into Imperial Troopers at all. Iden, I don't know. I'm not sure how much he's doing with the trooper setup you have right now. They're all very low gear except a couple. So some work you need there. Let me check Rebels real quick. Rebels, okay, you got the core 3. I'm not gonna scoff at that. So these two work well with the Millennium Falcon. This is the good leader. Don't have C-3PO, which is understandable because you need Ewoks to do that, and they're not fun to focus on. But eventually, definitely want to get him for this team. Omicron on Fulcrum. Not sure how much you're doing there with a Gear 8. Maybe it's great in the lower level guilds. Just let me know how that's going for you. And Sith. Okay, again, not much going on with Sith either. It does have some gear on Nihilus. Does have the Zeta on Treya for her leadership. So you really want to add Cyan in there too if you already have these two worked on. You might want to focus on him. And one more faction I want to look at is Bounty Hunters. Yeah, so I'd already looked at, I saw Aura, Boba Fett, R7. If you're going for Executor, this makes complete sense, which I hope that's what you're doing. So definitely recommend that. You're already closer with Boba Fett. Yeah, work on, I guess, Cad Bane. I guess, yeah, is he required? I forget off the top of my head. But yeah, probably go for Executor, which means you're going to want to farm Piet. And yeah, he could be, I mean, he could actually be your 5th in that standard Empire team. Even if you're not running Imperial Troopers, he could definitely make it work. But yeah, try to get to Executor. You've got a good amount of decent legendaries, like early game legendaries. Build up your geos in the meantime for ships, which it looks like you have them actually at a decent level. So try to get Malevolence. Since you only have the 3 stars, try to get Malevolence once you're in a guild that can get 2. If you're not in one, just try to get to one that's doing at least Darkside GOTB. So you can start working on Malevolence, and then long-term work on getting to Executor. Now I was trying to be quick, but let me check speeds. So Giant Revan fastest, that's fine. 287. Looks like you don't have a ton of speed going around if that's your fastest. So definitely prioritize working on getting good speed mods and be selective of what you're rolling or slicing up. Like, these are low speeds, so you really want, that's okay. That's pretty good actually, so keep slicing that one. Yeah, you really want to be more choosy with what mods you slice up. 21, great. 9, not so much. 22, great. And that's not a good primary for him either. So definitely some work to do on mods. Really focus on that. But anyway, that's where I want to stop at for this account. I've already gone pretty long. But thank you, LandornChocolates, for letting me review your account. But that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. I like doing the roster reviews. I appreciate all the interest I've heard in it. And if I haven't got to you, hang tight. I'll get there eventually, but I do have a lot of people in line. So thanks again, and hope to see you next time.